Just for the Prime Minister. Last week, steel and aluminum CEOs and opposition leader Pierre Poilievre called for the federal government to match the US's tariffs on China. Why has Canada not moved on this yet?
Well, first of all, it's a bit of a joke that Poilievre is suddenly talking about workers in the auto industry. He has said repeatedly that he wouldn't be making these investments in our auto industry. He wouldn't have invested. He'd be cutting our investments in EVs, in building an extraordinary EV supply chain in Canada, something that we've been doing as a government in partnership with the Government of Ontario and others right across the country over the past 4 years in a deliberate strategy. Bring in Volkswagen, bring in Stellantis, invest in Honda, invest in the EV supply chain from mines to manufacturing and recycling. We have been there every step of the way, and the federal Conservatives continue to say they'd cut it all. They don't support it. They don't believe in investing in Canadian workers. So him to suddenly turn around and say, oh, we're worried about EVs, that's baloney. He's looking for a political angle because that's all he does. But in regards to the CEOs and the steel manufacturers and the partners in the industry, I can tell you, for the past many months, we, alongside Minister Mary Ng, our Minister of Trade, have been working with stakeholders, working with community groups, working with international partners on making sure that Canada's EV advantage remains. Canadians have invested in this future, and we're going to make sure that we follow through on it. So Poilievre jumping in front of the parade or trying to is just silly. We have stood up for Canadian workers in the auto sector. We will continue to stand up for Canadian workers in the auto sector. We will continue to make sure that we're using all necessary tools to drive a greener, cleaner economy, which means great manufacturing jobs here in Canada, more opportunities for Canadians. This is a conversation that we've been having for months, and we will continue to have to make sure these investments we are making that Poilievre would cut are well protected for the future.
Next question.
Thanks. Hi, Prime Minister. Since June's by-election loss in Toronto, many in your caucus have called for change, whether that's to party leadership or to your senior staff or perhaps the caucus. You've had some time to think about this for the last 6 weeks, presumably. Can you tell me whether you're planning on implementing any changes that your caucus is looking for?
Well, one of the things that we've been focused on, not just over the past few weeks, but over the past many years, is making sure we're investing in Canadians. This announcement today is a great example of how from local MPs to ministers, we've all been working together to build a strong economy for the future at a time where Canadians are rightly concerned about this. And the conversations I have with members of my team leave me more optimistic and more focused than ever on fighting for Canadians every step of the way. We're going to continue to make sure that we're putting Canadians first in everything we do. That's the conversations I've had, and that's the commitment I've made to Canadians.
One of the two men charged with plotting the terror attack in Toronto came to Canada from abroad and became a Canadian citizen after allegedly appearing in an ISIS video dismembering a prisoner. Can you tell us when and how he came to Canada?
This is obviously a very serious situation that the Minister of Public Safety is ensuring there are a full follow-up and understanding on exactly how this happened. I know investigations are ongoing, and the Minister will share all that we learned in the appropriate moment. But we're taking this extremely seriously because Canadians need to have confidence in our immigration system and on the millions of people who've come here over the past years to build a better life for themselves and their future. We need to make sure everything is done to keep Canadians safe.
Is the issue that you are not sure as to how this person came to Canada, or just not willing to share at this point what you know?
We are proceeding in a proper and thorough investigation on exactly how this happened, and we will share with Canadians at the appropriate moment.
Prime Minister, you're hoping to bring in your new Canadian Human Rights Commissioner as a breath of fresh air, and I now understand he has agreed to resign. He's just issued a statement talking about believing in the Commission's work, mandate, importance to democracy. What happened here? Why did he resign? What does the report say about him? What was he, in fact, doing what he was accused of doing by various Jewish human rights advocacy groups?
First of all, it's really important to get the right people in the right jobs, and I know the Minister of Justice will be holding a press avail to talk more about this situation in the coming hours.
Mr. Prime Minister, my next question is about Venezuela. We know that Canada has expressed concerns about the election results out there, but my question is that why Canada has not joined the United States to declare that President Maduro did not win the elections, and why Canada has not imposed any sanctions on Maduro yet?
Canada has been one of the strongest countries in standing up over the past many years against the Maduro regime. We have, as you said, huge questions about those election results. We're calling on the international community to come together and demand a proper accountability. It is essential that the will of the people be respected, and we will continue to work not just as northern countries, but with countries in the global south, particularly across South America, to demand accountability, transparency, and to ensure that democracy returns to Venezuela for Venezuelans.